Welcome to Listen and Learn with J and K, where we challenge the status quo and add to what we know. I'm Jay.
And I'm Kay. We've had a lot of technical challenges last 2 weeks ago and again tonight, so it's got me thinking about problems.
Or we just need to
Run into
buy
obstacles.
a whole bunch of new fancy technology and get some gifts on Amazon Prime Day.
Actually, I do need that. But, in the meantime, what do? As I was thinking about problem solving, I also got thinking about problem finding, because that's really what we do in our everyday work, and it's actually what we did when we had this technical problem. You can't actually solve a problem until you find what the problem is.
That's true. And, sometimes when you think about looking for problems, you would think that that's failure or a lack of success. And I know many in the healthcare industry hope for situations where it's always successful and it always leads a positive route. But I think there's often great wisdom and learnings just in the struggle, living in the struggle and failing our way even to success. Like you said, in finding the problem and the root causes.
Yeah, I mean, the problem finding is really what we do in examination with a patient, because we can't do therapy, we can't apply any kind of strategy for treatment if we don't know what we're working with. So it's literally that in examination, you are doing problem finding, and you can't just make general observations, or it still will lead you down the wrong path. I mean, you might look at a patient and watch them move and say, well, the patient looks weak. And that might be true, but where is the patient weak? I mean, that's a very simple example. It's not that simple in stroke neuro rehab and recovery, but that's a very simple example. I mean, if your legs are weak, you can't do arm exercises and succeed. And the same is true for our stroke patients, and finding and sorting out their impairments. I would say the impairments are the problems. And unless and until you find those impairments that you can name and claim, everything about your problem solving is a crapshoot.
In the medical world with physicians, they diagnose problems. They look
Right.
at tests and labs and imaging and whatever's required to make their diagnosis of the type of stroke, for example, your patient has had. I think all too often we've missed that portion of our
Right.
practice. And as we've now continued to progress into doctoral practice, I think this is a real need for us in this industry. We can no longer assume that a stroke is a stroke, and that they all have similar patterns, similar movement patterns, and the same grocery list of, I guess, diagnoses or impairments. This is where our examination must identify the exact movement system impairment and diagnosis for our patient if we wish to then find the solution. Without the problem, we just provide a general list of treatment ideas, and it doesn't resolve the diagnoses or the impairments in the way that the patient requires.
That's right. And, we've talked before about, probably every time we've talked, we've mentioned the word salience. And you have to do that in this instance too, even when you're problem finding. If I want to play my guitar, what is keeping me from being able to do that? There are some requirements of the movement system for being able to do that. So that's really how we'd like to, and how we teach therapists to find those problems, is actually in the context of what matters. I mean, I might have problems with, I don't know, let's say something in my ankle, but that actually won't keep me from playing guitar. And I'm not saying it shouldn't be addressed, but if what I say to you, if you're my therapist and say, Jason, what I care about the most is playing my guitar, and you say, well, okay, I want to work on your ankle, you know, I think I'm buying into your program because you're solving a problem or finding a problem to then solve that doesn't help me one bit with what I actually want to do.
So true. And, we can learn a lot even from other industries, perhaps even within movement science. You think about tennis lessons or golf lessons. It would be unusual for me to go to my local golf club, pay a professional golf pro to identify what's wrong with my swing or how to make me a better golfer, and he would lay me down on a mat or a plinth table and test the length of my hamstrings, or look at how strong my biceps brachii are. He wouldn't do that. He would observe me within the task and the role that I'm trying to improve at, and then move on from there. And so likewise, that's exactly what we have to do. As you said, watching our own stroke patients perform tasks that are goal tasks for them that they wish to return to, and then forming our own hypotheses, our differential diagnosis list, so to speak, that then we run tests on to confirm or refute whether that diagnosis is an appropriate diagnosis limiting that task.
Indeed. So now that we are a doctoring profession, we have to have a differential. We have to have a differential diagnosis, and we have to have a movement system diagnosis. We can no longer treat the stroke. We can no longer treat a list of generalities. We have to go find specific problems and then make specific strategies for solving those problems. So for anybody who might be joining us or listening in, I think the challenge in problem finding is to not gloss over when you see something that's wrong with the movement system. It's a very complicated idea to sort out root causes. But that's exactly what we talk about here at NeuroPro Education, is getting to root causes, because then and only then can you apply the kinds of solutions we use that will really make a difference in what somebody wants to do.
This is really what separates us as the professional in the human movement industry in rehabilitation. And so I would encourage everyone, including ourselves, to continue going out there and look for problems to solve, and then test those out and identify the root cause to bring healing and recovery to all of your patients.
Yeah, so problem finding is the very benchmark that you need to begin problem solving. So find problems, worry about solving them later.
Well, I seem to have no difficulty in finding problems, and I enjoy the...
Well, here's hoping we don't find so many problems the next time we hook up for Listen and Learn. Hey, the next Listen and Learn is scheduled for July 4th. Or should we let everyone have a safe and happy holiday on that Monday? I know here in the States, it's a big travel weekend for people.
I think that sounds fine. I'd want them to enjoy and have great time for themselves and their families over that holiday weekend, and be fresh again, perhaps for the following Monday, so that we can reconnect and discover what new problems have arisen over the previous week. So would that make it July 11th?
July 11th. I think so. Monday, July 11th. So I'll talk to you then, Jay.
Sounds good, Kay. Have a great week, and
Thanks.
happy Independence Day, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.